What is going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Just a Person, Just Buffalo. I am your host, JTM. I got my co host in the building with me, NFL pedigree, we like to call him, Mr. James Mallory. Uh, man, big game this week. Obviously, with a potential Super Bowl berth. I don't want to say that word too much, but I'm going to say it again. A potential Super Bowl berth on the line. Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City Chiefs. Again, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. Again, in Kansas City. Again. Seems to be, to me, James, this is like Groundhog Day, the movie. You wake up and it's the same old beginning, just a different ending.
Yes.
And I just wonder if finally this is the time that the Buffalo Bills get past, as I like to call it, Big Brother. And that's what the Kansas City Chiefs have been. They've been Big Brother. Get them that respect. Hats off to them. They've done that thing. They've done that, as you call it. Say it all the time. They've done the damn thing. Okay.
Yeah, they did. They did. They have done the damn thing.
So, I wonder if this is the time the Bills get by. But we got a good show lined up for you tonight. We're going to be talking about, just give you guys a lineup. Obviously, how can we not talk about Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen? We're going to talk about if Allen needs this win against the Chiefs for his legacy. This sounds very similar to a comparison of these two. Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you want to go further back, Kelly versus Marino. Or, Marino never got there, but this seems very eerily similar, right? Arguably two of the best quarterbacks, not the best two quarterbacks in the NFL at this very moment. We're going to talk about Joe Brady and how the Bills and Josh Allen with Joe Brady also coordinator and Josh Allen, should attack this Chiefs defense. Very, very interesting stats, some telling stats from the Week 11 win here in Buffalo. But throw that win out the window. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Isaiah Pacheco and Marquise Brown are back. We're going to break down how much a difference that makes. Those are two playmakers the Chiefs that had Week 11. They have them now. And I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to dare to ask the question. Is Mahomes more beatable right now than he's ever been? And last but not least, how the Bills should guard Travis Kelce. And don't forget, on the offside of the ball, we will be joined by our guy, International D-Dot, to break down, to give you an in-depth breakdown of how the Bills should attack the Kansas City Chiefs defense. But let's hop right into it, man. Let's get started. First topic of the night, dun-dun-dun-dun. Bills at Chiefs for a trip to Super Bowl 59. LIX. Nolans. Gumbo. Bourbon.
And know your clap. I told you one step closer doing that. Know your clap. We're gonna start playing that. So we're gonna have to play the song.
I would love to do that, but they're gonna mark us with all type of media.
Absolutely, it won't last long. They'll put us right down.
It lasts about 10 seconds. We'll be right off the air quick. So we'll see you next week if we're not banned from a new page. But no, obviously this is a big game. Once again, second week in a row, the Bills are involved in the biggest game of the weekend. They were last week. They are this week. This is the game that I'm going to be honest with you. I expect this game to beat all media records for most watched AFC Championship game in the history of the league. While we're in the air, I'm going to look it up and see which one it is. And I'm going to bet, and I'm a betting man on this one, that this game, Bills-Chiefs 2025 for a Super Bowl trip to 59, is going to break and records. Smash all ratings records for most watched AFC Championship game.
Yes, I can agree with that, JT. I think that's going to be a slam dunk.
Let me ask you, before we get too deep in the show, what are you most interested in with this matchup this time around?
Ooh.
It's a lot of interest.
The trenches.
Yeah, okay.
The trenches. If we can contain Chris Jones, that dude is big on third downs.
Yeah.
Dan said, they beatable the mistakes, right? So one of the mistakes is not accounting for Chris Jones. You
Yeah.
have to account for Chris Jones.
Mm,
Um, so that dude is a beast, man. Being able to account for him and stop him from making big plays when we need one.
mm,
I mean, that's something that we got to do. And then our D line. If our D line can get pressure and put hands on Mahomes, I
mm,
think that's a huge deal. So I think the battle of the trenches is going to be very, very important. Low key, people looking at Mahomes and Allen, obviously, but I'm looking at the trenches. Is Ed Oliver going to show up? Right, Von Miller gonna make another big play.
mm.
Rousseau, AJ, you know, Daquan Jones. We need you to play sound. So if those guys can come to play and ball out and win the battle of the trenches, I think that'll put us in a really, really good position to win.
Mm.
Um, so that's what I'm most excited about, JT. So I'm interested to hear what you are excited to see for this game.
You know what? I actually agree with you with the trenches. That's not the matchup I was interested to see, but the trench matchup is very interesting. And I had to do a little tidbit about Chris Jones. You know, last week when they played the Houston Texans, I actually watched him, and they've been doing it more and more. They've been lining him up on the
That left
edge.
end, that
Yep,
left
that left
end.
end spot, and even there, he's been causing hell. Um, just to give you guys a tidbit, this season alone, he has lined up, including the divisional playoff game, at left end 207 times this year. At the left defensive tackle spot, 145 times. The right defensive tackle spot, 197. So they're moving this guy. They're moving this guy all around the board. Okay.
Yep.
And he's a game wrecker. I have to give hats off to him, give him respect. Chris Jones is one of the best, if not possibly arguably the best defensive tackle in the NFL. And honestly, to be honest with you, I can't call him defensive tackle anymore. He's a defensive lineman by trade. That's all we can name him because they move him all everywhere. But I would say honestly, the most interesting matchup for me, and I think you'll love this one, is which running back group is going to take this gum over. Because overall, I know when we think about Bills Chiefs, we think about high scoring offenses. We always go back to was the 2021 AFC Championship game, or was it 2022 AFC Championship game with the back and forth?
That's
Can't remember.
21.
21. Okay. Was it 21?
Yeah,
Yeah, 21. If
21.
if I'm incorrect, please put it in the chat, my guy. I know you guys stat check me all the time, and I appreciate it. But I know we always go back to the 7-second game, as they call it, right? The high scoring, the back and forth, boom, 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 boom.
That 13-second game?
13 second game. My fault. I said 7 seconds, right? 13 seconds.
Yep.
So I would say everybody thinks about that. I don't personally think, and we're going to talk about this with D. Dot a little later. I don't personally think that this game is lined up to be a shootout. I think that this game is lined up for two teams protecting the football and playing ball control.
Chess. It's
And
going to be a chess match.
yep, there you go. And when I look at the backfields, obviously Buffalo led by James Cook, Ty Johnson almost taking over that number 2 spot right now, and the rookie Ray Davis, who spells them very well. But then you look at that Chiefs backfield, and you got
Kareem
Hunt leading the backfield right now, but you have
Isaiah Pacheco.
a healthy Isaiah Pacheco who was not there in Week 11, but we know what he did to us last year in the playoffs.
Yeah,
A
and
ball,
the thing is, he hasn't looked as explosive since he's been
right,
back.
right,
So obviously, if you break your leg, man, that
mm-hmm,
takes some time, right? Um, so I'm very, very interested to see how we do with that. Because if I'm not mistaken, Kareem Hunt had more carries than him last week, and
he did.
none of those two are going to be able to. They're not a James Cook type where they'll punish you and take it 60, 70 yards, right? But they can just gas you and big chunk runs and keep their feet moving. They run the
Mm-hmm.
ball hard. They really good backs. So we got to be able to keep them in check. We got to keep that same type of mentality we had about stopping Derrick Henry. We got to have that same attitude about stopping them as well.
So that I guess that brings me to our first topic of the night. Then I mean I didn't know what I was going to start with, but that leads me right to this first topic when we go here. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, as some know, and Isaiah Pacheco are back. Is Buffalo still good? Is the question for me. Obviously, we cannot debate the fact that these two players are game wreckers. That's what they have been in the past.
They matter.
Mark, they
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 matter.
matter and they matter a lot. And they
Yes.
were not there in that Week 11 matchup. And on paper, it looks like yeah. That matters having them, and it does. But then when you look at the numbers, and you just mentioned Isaiah Pacheco has not looked as explosive with the broken leg. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be healed before the end of this year. It looks like a guy that's not 100% in my opinion.
Yeah. No, he's
But
not.
but if you go to the game log, and I'm going to just last week at Houston, 5 carries, 18 yards. Week 16 versus Pittsburgh, or 17 versus Pittsburgh, 6 carries, 18 yards. The 21st, the game on the 21st of December against Houston, 9 carries, 26 yards. Okay, this is a guy he's barely averaging 3 yards to carry. And if you go to the game, his first game back versus the Chargers was his best game. No, I'm sorry, second game back, 14 carries, 55 yards. Okay, this is a guy who's obviously he's struggling. And you're right, Kareem Hunt is getting the bulk of the carries.
Yep.
So how does he factor in to this game? Do you think that, hey, maybe he could just turn it on? Do you think that maybe this is a game he feels a little bit better? He's at home. How does Isaiah Pacheco factor into this game for you?
He's still dangerous because he runs the ball. He's a good runner. So
Yeah.
it's not about him being explosive. I think we gotta key in on that dude. We cannot let him, because if they get in a ball control game, just like Baltimore, they can make you in a long, long day if they get to play ball control, right? We got to get them off the field in third downs. We can't allow them to have third and shorts, right? So first down is going to be very, very, very important to be able to keep them in the second and long. Keep them 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10. We got to be able to keep them there. We don't want 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4s. So therefore, Isaiah Pacheco can eat a little bit more. No. We want to put them in the position where they have to throw the ball on those downs, more obvious passing downs, be able to let the defensive ends pin their ears back a little bit more, be able to get after them. So you don't want Pacheco to get into a rhythm. So we got to be able to take care of that ASAP.
And when we talk about this running game of the Chiefs, I did want to pull up their stats, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Their stats are not as good as I thought it would be. Obviously, they run the ball. They run the ball 41% of the time, so they have a ratio of 59 to 41. 59 pass, 49%, which is as expected when you have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid. But they only average 3.9 yards a carry. At a clip of on average of 26 yards, 26 carries a game for 102. So it has not been obviously explosive. Obviously, I think that we can contribute a lot of that to Isaiah Pacheco being hurt, and obviously Kareem Hunt being that band-aid this season. But if that's the production you're going to get in this game, you may struggle versus this Buffalo Bills defense. Because where the Bills struggle at is teams possibly having that balance and trying to play ball control and getting first down at the first down in chunks of yardage. That's where they struggle at. Because the weakness is obviously in that defensive tackle room. We've said that all year. That is where your main weakness on this Bills team is in your defense. I mean, you can argue safety as well, but I kind of think the defensive tackle spot is more of an eyesore at this point in time. So that brings me to the next question. If Isaiah Pacheco is not healthy, in this running game may possibly struggle. And if you go back to the week 13 game, Kareem Hunt led 14 carries for 60 yards. So it ain't like they were just shutting him down that game, all right? He was actually having pretty solid. We just got them down a little bit. Marquise Brown is here now. We've seen DeAndre Hopkins. We've seen Xavier Worthy. We've seen Noah Gray, Travis Kelce. We've seen everything they had to offer on that Chiefs offense within inside the receiving core, except Marquise Brown being a part of it. Now, I know I've said all year, this is a guy who scares me the most out of anybody on this offense. Because, to your point, for most of the year, our safety room being a liability, this is the type of guy that can hurt you and hurt you very badly with one mistake. One mistake, touchdown. It's very simple math. 1 + 1 = 2, and that 2 = 6.
I just, how do I want to say? I don't want to disrespect him. I just, I just don't know about how much of a factor he'll be, right?
Mm,
Because one thing that we know they'll be doing this week is game planning for the deep ball. I'm more concerned that they get the running game going. You get what I'm saying? Because I can't see Marquise Brown coming. I mean, he could, but I mean that don't scare me. The fact that Marquise Brown come out and have a big game, that wouldn't put us to bed. Because if they want to get into a shootout, they're in trouble. They're in trouble, bro. That team ain't built for a shootout. So if you want to go bang for bang with that, I don't think they last. I think the key to this game is Pacheco and
Kareem
Hunt
Hunt.
getting going. We can't let them get going.
Yeah. So hypothetically, and I'll say actually before I even ask that question, I'll go over Marquise Brown's game logs. So he's played 3 games in Kansas City so far. First game was Houston, 5 receptions off 8 targets, 45 yards. Then Pittsburgh, which was week 17, 4 catches, 46 yards off 7 targets, and now we get to the real game versus Houston last week. 0 catches, 0 yards, 2 targets, a Gabe Davis type game. Oops, did I say that on there? My bad. But
What they're going to do, they're going to force feed him the ball. They're going to throw screens.
mhm,
I see a lot of screens coming this game. I really do, and they're going to try to get big bodies on little bodies,
yeah,
get them out of space and try to create big plays. They're going to try to do that with Worthy. They're going to try to do that with Hollywood Brown. That's what they're going to try. That's going to be their game plan. They're going to try to throw quick screens and get big bodies out there to block little bodies and try to create running lanes and seams for those big play fast guys. That's what they're going to try to do. If I'm a betting man.
so what I've seen the last couple of weeks is they really don't try to. They really just use him as a downfield threat because you got a key in on him. And I felt like that's probably one of the reasons Travis Kelce. I think it kind of coincides that Travis Kelce has kind of gotten going a little bit
Yep.
with the return of Marquise Brown. It opens up the middle of the field, but you have seen DeAndre Hopkins' numbers with the return of Marquise Brown drop.
Yeah.
You've seen it. So to your point of the screen game and getting big bodies and little bodies, you've seen a lot of it with Xavier Worthy underneath.
Yes. They're going to get him the ball a lot. They're probably going to get him some screens and
Mm.
some jet sweeps this game. I think he could probably get at least 2 carries. Out the backfield, at least 2, and some screens. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. We got to make the play, man. We got to tackle, short tackles, can't miss tackles, and let them create big plays.
All right. So on a scale from 1 to 10, with Marquise Brown and Isaiah Pacheco being back, how much is your, I don't know, we'll call it the Reid-o-meter. Meaning, how problematic on a scale from 1 to 10 do you see on the Reid-o-meter of Isaiah Pacheco and
A
Marquise
4 or 5. A 4 or 5.
Okay. I'm at 5. I'm at 5 with you.
Yeah.
And like I said, I give it a 5 because I do not feel that Isaiah Pacheco is healthy. He does not look the same since he come back, and I don't think we're going to see the right Isaiah Pacheco probably until next season.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that.
So, but moving on. Where do we want to go now? We want to go to this Mahomes. It seems to me that the talk of the town in NFL this season was, when it came surrounding the best quarterback, was Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff at times, but it was never really Patrick Mahomes. Never really did disrespect to him for being a winner, but his name really wasn't that conversation. The conversation was more or less, why is he not playing like people expect him to play to that level most of the year? So I have to ask the question to you. Does it seem that Mahomes is more beatable than ever?
No.
Okay. Why?
For the Bills, I think the Bills are just a better team this year. Is he more beatable? No.
You don't think he's more beatable than any other year?
No, he's still dangerous. I don't think so. To me, he had more weapons than last year.
Mm,
My opinion, right? I just think the Bills have a better overall team than
okay.
last year. I think that's why I think we may have a better chance. We should have beat them last year. I mean, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I don't want to go into that, but
Yeah.
you know, I think we're a smarter team this year. I think we're a more balanced team this year.
Mm.
I think we're overall just a better team. So, we got to come out there and just hopefully put them to bed, and be able to get over the hump, get to the Super Bowl. So,
Okay. So my answer to this question is, and I have probably a little bit different answer than people thought I would have. I'm gonna say yes, but it's probably not for the reasons you think. It has nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes as a player and why I think he's more beatable than ever this year. It has to do with the talent surrounding Mahomes. Like you said, you think Buffalo has a better team. I agree with you. If you lined up Kansas City's offensive players with Buffalo offensive players, we go toe to toe. Some people would take KC's offensive players because of the name, the explosive Marquise Brown. You know, obviously Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco are probably bigger names than James Cook and Ty Johnson at this point in time, right?
yeah.
But that's not the reason I think he's more beatable than ever. I think those names that were mentioned is also the reason why. I feel that the Chiefs all season have lacked cohesiveness. And they're a very talented football team, up in the top echelon of the league as far as talent. But I I even at 16-2 in the season, I felt like they backdoored their ways to a lot of wins. And when you have a team like this and they're coming off a championship, right? And they keep having to find ways to win games the next season, even though the W's are continue to collect in that column, I tend to feel that it was a
They're,
struggle.
yeah, they're vulnerable.
Right. They're vulnerable. I feel like they're locked into a Super Bowl layover.
Yeah, I think the
I'm
key to
sorry.
this game too, JT, is going to be getting up. I can agree with you. I
Mhm.
think we got to get up on them. We cannot let these dudes hang around.
Right. So for those reasons, I feel that Patrick Mahomes is more beatable ever because I feel like there's lack of cohesiveness with DeAndre Hopkins. There's lack of cohesiveness with Marquise Brown. There's not that much synergy. I think with Xavier Worthy, even though he's been on the field all season, he's a rookie. He's still learning the game as far as learning Mahomes. Now him and Travis Kelce got it going, and we'll talk about Travis Kelce next. But I feel like this is the year that if you're gonna get him, you better get him right now because you do know that when it comes to the offseason, if they do lose, or even if they do win, they're not going to lay down. And those offensive tackles,
Yep.
I think, are a major problem for the Chiefs. And we'll talk about that a little bit more about what you attack Andy Reid.
All jokes aside, they got to do something about that. The right tackle jumping every play,
Oh my
like that.
God,
That has to be addressed this week.
who is it?
Like, dude, that's
Who is it?
embarrassing.
Jawan Taylor.
Jawan Taylor.
Yeah, it's insane. I agree. The league has to see it. I mean, the dude jumps what you think about 7, 8 times a game.
If not more.
Yeah, and he gets
Every time
caught
they're
for what?
shotgun, he jumps. Every time.
Yep, every time a shotgun. We'll have to watch that, and also he doesn't line up on the line correctly either. It should be a
No.
legal formation most of the time. So let's go to the next topic then. Moving on. Since we're talking about the offense, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes. You cannot mention Patrick Mahomes without mentioning Travis Kelce. How, in your opinion, should the Bills guard Travis Kelce? Should it be man? Should it be zone? Should it be a mix? How would you attack him per se?
I'll mix it up. I'll
Okay.
mix it up. I mean, he's still going to be effective, right? I just think that with them having Hollywood Brown and them having Worthy and them having D Hop, I don't think you can afford to double them. Uh, you still have to respect them. You can't double them though. I don't think you can afford them. Then D Hop, he's a baller still. Period. D Hop still's a baller. You can't. You can't leave Worthy. I mean, I think you got to mix it up a little bit, but you can't. One thing I don't think you can do is double him.
Hmm.
Uh, throw some zone at him, throw some man at him, mix it up a little bit.
Okay. So this is a guy, Travis Kelce, that over his last two games has had 15 catches on 19 targets for 201 yards and two touchdowns. His catch percentage is literally like a 76% right now over these last
Yeah,
two games,
that's
which
wild.
is which is obviously the hats off to him, much respect. He's passing Jerry Rice on most of the stat lines as far as playoff yards and catches. Okay, so for me, when I think about this, I go back to the game a couple years ago where the Bills went to Kansas City. They beat them on, I believe it was on Sunday Night Football, the rain delay game, and how they gave Travis Kelce. I think he had like 44 yards, something like that night, somewhere around there. And they took Saran Neal, and they put Saran Neal on him, and they put him in man coverage all night. I'm gonna say this. I think with the combination of the Chiefs, less
I
than
think I know where
less,
you're going.
yep, with the Chiefs less than stellar tackles, I would prefer, and I do agree with you. There needs to be a mix up. You can't just run the same thing over and over. This ain't Madden. I would like to see 75% of the time man coverage.
We've been running a lot more man than usual lately.
I would like to see man coverage, and I'll even go a further step to say this. This is a game that I might activate your guy, Kyrie Elam. This may be a game that I activate Kyrie Elam. Now, obviously, the odds is because you have to play against the run. If you're going to do that, it'll probably be like a safety because I think Saran Neal is like a hybrid. So you may see like a Cam Lewis or something of that sort on him. But I don't think that's the right matchup. I think you got to go, in my opinion, in my opinion, I'm not a big fan of the Teron Johnson versus matchup. I'm matchup versus him. I would not be afraid. I would not be afraid to throw Rasul Douglas over if I had to.
Okay, okay. You mentioned Cole Bishop. How you feel about that? You mentioned that before
Yep,
in the past.
Cole
You have
Bishop too.
mentioned that, JT.
Yeah, yeah. Now, if Taylor Rapp and DeMar Hamlin are healthy, yeah, I can see you doing that. Cole Bishop is athletic enough to stick with him. I think what you can't do is you can't allow him to sit in zone and allow him to just pick you apart.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't even know if the Chiefs even get this guy routes at the line of scrimmage. After they just tell him to get open. No, I'm serious. I mean, you don't have to give him a route necessarily. You could give him a zone to attack,
Yeah.
and he finds it every time. This is when he dominates. When you sit back, you don't put a body on him at the line, you let him run free, and he just finds open holes, and Mahomes finds him. We have to make it a struggle to find him. And I think the proper way to do that is man coverage.
I can agree. I can agree. I think you mix it up though.
Yeah, 100%. One more question before we move on about Travis Kelce. Obviously, we know the Taylor Swift angle, and now you got to throw in Caitlin Clark into the situation. Do you think that Caitlin Clark and everything surrounding Travis Kelce with obviously him dating Taylor Swift, do you feel that adds to the game?
For people who aren't truly football people, yes. To people like myself and you, I mean, we can care less. I
Right.
mean, who cares? I mean,
Yeah.
she's there in attendance, cool, but whatever.
I'm gonna say this. I love it. I really do. Anything that can bring money to the league, which can raise the salary cap, because we know we've been having trouble with salary cap. I'm with it. Um, I think it brings a whole new fan base to the game. I think it's funny that they show her 1,000 times and people are like, "Oh, I'm so sick of seeing her. Stop getting the camera off her." I love it. I love anything that annoys people at times. And I
No, I
know
feel you. I feel you.
it's extremely annoying, but it's funny to me. But no, I think this is really good for the game of football. And when you have matchups like this, a juggernaut matchup, anything you can throw into that pot of gumbo for New Orleans, and I'm no pun intended, I'm saying gumbo, but it is a pun intended. You know, anything you can throw in this pot for this trip to go, this gumbo to go to New Orleans, I'm with it. I'm all with it. So I like it. I do. But moving on, man. Moving on. Let's see. And tell us in the matter of fact, if you're watching, tell us in the comments how you guys feel about that, about Taylor Swift. And do you think that the Swifties and Taylor Swift add juice, as I call it, to this game? But yeah, man. Last defense. Is this the last defensive topic of the game? Yeah, last defensive topic of the night. And then we're gonna get D Dot in here. 'Cause I know he's chomping at the bit, so they're ready, right?
Yeah.
How can the Bills defense stop the combination of the great Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes?
Play disciplined football, man. It's that simple. It might sound simple.
Hmm?
Just play discipline, play sound football, stick to your fundamentals. Literally, you good. That's what it's about. They wait for you to make the mistake. Play discipline, play sound football, and get after Mahomes. Get after him. Rousseau, this is a great coming out party. You want to get paid? This is a great game for you to come out and be like, hey, I'm that dude. Drop that money, right? AJ, you got paid this offseason. Come with it. And Oliver, you've been paid. Today, this Saturday, or excuse me, this Sunday will be the perfect day for your coming out party for the season. So let's go.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna say this. I think it comes down to getting pressure on the quarterback, right? We brought Von Miller here 2 years ago to get past the Kansas City Chiefs and to be a closer. Obviously, year one, we lost him before we could get to that point. Yep. Year two, he was not himself last year, even going to that game. This is the best he's looked in about 2.5 years now, this season so far. Obviously, we saw him with the fumble recovery and the run. We saw him get some pressure versus Lamar. We saw him hold the pocket, which I keep saying, be very, very mindful of how well Von Miller contains. I know we want to see the sack numbers, but he has contained every scrambling quarterback you could think of down this stretch.
Yep.
And he does not lose containment, and that's huge, while still pushing the pocket. And I agree with you. We have to get Ed Oliver off the damn milk carton. We need him.
He played well last week. He did. He did. But what I think we needed some of them. He always plays solid run game, keep his run fit, all that stuff. I think we need some pressure plays. We need a strip sack. We need a big sack, something. We need a pop play from Ed Oliver. We need a pop play.
Right. Do you go as aggressive as they went against Baltimore with the blitzing last week, or no?
I think you sprinkle some of that in because you can't let Mahomes just sit back there. You got to get him off his spot. Right. And I think when you start putting hands on him a little bit, I don't think he don't care for that. Right. And you cannot let that dude scramble for first downs, man. You can't.
No, and that's something that Patrick Mahomes does not get enough credit for.
Extending plays, he gets him out of here.
Extending plays, extending drives. Obviously, he's not known as a running quarterback, but he does it very, very well. So I'm gonna say, man, like I said, it comes down to the front four, maybe front five if you're blitzing somebody, but I think it comes down to pressure. It comes down to pressure, and honestly, making it difficult to feed that ball to Travis Kelce. That's how I think you stop him, slow him down, and controlling the running game. You can't let them get 4 or 5 yards to carry on first down.
Yeah, man, we gotta. Yeah, nah, you can't let that happen.
Right. So, moving on. Last topic before we get D-Dot on here. I got to ask you this question, man. Comes down to student versus the mentor. Or teacher, right? And the teacher has lost more regular season games to the student, but he's never lost in the playoffs to him. What is the difference between Bills head coach Sean McDermott and Andy Reid? And I think that's a good question to ask there.
That's a great question. Um, my biggest thing is I think it comes down to confidence, right?
Mm,
In certain situations, like just having the confidence, been there, done that, right? Andy Reid's been a head coach for what 20 years,
yep.
um, and you having the confidence to be able to make certain decisions in certain moments because you're so experienced at it, right? McDermott, season 8, I want to say. Um,
Season 8, yep.
s- yep. I mean, that's still fairly a new head coach, to be honest with you. Not saying he's a rookie, but he's still learning some things too, right? He still
Mm,
go through some growing pains at times, certain situations, right? So I think it just comes down to the confidence. I think McDermott on some bump it stuff. Let's roll now. I don't think
mm,
he's in his own way. Like, let's go get him, McDermott. Let's get it.
right. So when you look at Andy Reid, right, and we talk about the difference, we talk about year 8. Obviously, Andy Reid went to the Super Bowl, and his 6th year he went to Super Bowl with the Eagles, and obviously he was on a really really good run there, right? But then he kind of hit a wall,
Yep.
and we didn't see Andy Reid into another Super Bowl until 2019, year literally number 20 of his coaching career, and he was fired. He was fired in year 13 by the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, after 2 years of 8-8 and then 4-12, and obviously having the resurgence with Alex Smith for Kansas City. So if you ask me what the difference is, I agree with you. It comes down to experience. That is the first difference. I think the second difference is how they lead.
Yep.
I say over the years, Andy Reid has let the guard down a little bit. You kind of be yourself. We've seen things work out in Kansas City. Be like, all right, listen, man, you can't really do that. All right. I feel like he's taking more chances on players that have character issues.
Yeah.
Where Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane has been more, all right, we're not going to touch it. We like our culture. But I think the biggest difference between these two coaches is the pressure they feel in big games. Andy Reid has, and I go back to your point of Andy Reid has been doing this for over 20 years. Ain't
Yep.
nothing he ain't did, ain't nothing he ain't seen. I don't think he puts that much pressure on himself on the big game. Now, and if he does, we don't see it, and his players doesn't feel it. I'm not saying that's what Sean McDermott does, but I think at times with the games like this, Sean McDermott does feel a little bit of pressure. Rightfully
Yep.
so. Any normal human being would,
Yeah. Absolutely.
but he also does not have, going back to it, he does not have 25 years of NFL head coach experience. All right.
Yeah, that
So
matters. It matters, but I think McDermott is over that hump. I'm very confident in saying that he ready to go get it. I really think he's ready to go get it.
now, don't get me wrong, McDermott ain't no punk. There ain't no fear there. There's absolutely, for Sean McDermott, there's absolutely zero fear of the Chiefs and Andy Reid. Like
Agree.
you said, great word you said. The only zero in it, and really a O, is confidence. He's confident he can beat this team. He's confident he can coach against this team. He's confident that he can beat them, and he can lead his team to beat them. Whether he does is one thing or not one thing. Whether he does it, that's neither here or there. But the confidence to get it done is there, and I think that overall the difference is just experience and the pressure they put on themselves and feel. So, moving on, man. Let's get D Dot is ready to go. We're gonna get him in here. D Dot, what is going on, man? Another week, another show. Big show this week. AFC Championship game. Bills Chiefs in Kansas City. And I know the people want to know how should the Bills attack this Kansas City defense. And I'll give before I let you answer, I'll give you some stats here of this Kansas City defense. They allow only 19 points a game, which is third in the league. They only allow 324 yards a game, which is ninth in the league, and they allow only 50% of red zone scoring and 4.2 yards a carry, 104 yards rushing game. But they do allow 66% completion percentage to quarterbacks and allow 220 yards a game, which is best for that 20th in the league. Just give you a rundown of some stats of people. So I got to ask you, how should the Bills attack the Chiefs' defense? Uh-oh, you on mute. Wait a minute. I got you.
All right, my bad. Yeah, I appreciate that rundown, JT. What up, J Mal, my man?
What up?
Yeah, I think if the Bills take the same approach as they did with the Ravens, get downhill on these guys, establish that run game, I think that'll be key for them being successful. Kansas City gave the Bills a lot of man looks last game they played them. I know that's last game, but Steve Spagnuolo, he likes to, you know what I mean? He likes to get after the quarterback. He likes to get after Josh. You know what I mean? He likes to get after him a little bit, give him different looks. And with those man looks, man, I feel as though if the Bills establish a strong run game, you sprinkle in some of that play action, some of those, those motions, those jet motions, some of those return motions that they've got, then I think, you know what I mean, the Bills will be very successful with their matchups, because I don't see them matching up well. I don't see KC matching up well with the different personnel groups that the Bills have. To be real with you, we've seen a reversal between the two squads. Before, it used to be KC had all these different personnel groupings. You didn't know what the heck they were going to do. You know what I'm saying? That has been now, since with some attrition to their roster, what have you, some injuries and everything, that has changed. Now you see the Bills offense being more amphibious. You know what I'm saying? They're able to change. You don't know what they're running. They could come out in 12 personnel and hit you for a 15 to 20 yarder downfield off of play action. So I think establishing that run will be very key.
Yeah. As far as the passing game goes, right? Obviously, last time we saw them in Week 11, I run you some stats. Khalil Shakir had 8 catches on 12 targets for 70 yards. Curtis Samuel had 5 catches for 58 yards on 6 targets, and Amari Cooper 2 catches for 55 yards on 3 targets. And obviously, you sprinkling a little Dawson Knox, 4 catches for 40 yards, and there was no Dalton Kincaid,
Yep.
and there also was no Keon Coleman that game.
Yep.
All right. How, as far as the passing game for the Bills, with the man looks, and obviously I think you're right about the Chiefs giving the man looks, the numbers don't lie. The 2 guys who got open the most were Khalil Shakir and Curtis Samuel. And that man coverage look that you just mentioned was the reason why. And you don't see the Chiefs changing that, right?
No, I don't see them changing that. There were even a couple times where I think when McDuffie did get to Josh, because Spagnuolo likes to bring his corners on blitzes. Yeah. You know what I mean, here and there, man. Like he's a guy who likes to do that, and I've noticed that of him whenever they played the Bills. He likes to do that pretty consistently, like per game, not of course consistently throughout the game, but per game. He likes to do in those key situations, key down and distance. And the one play where McDuffie got to him, it was a corner blitz, and I think it was a play action. Josh just got his eyes around. He tried to escape and couldn't escape, from McDuffie. So I don't see them straying from that too much. I think that Spagnuolo wants to, bring those pressure looks. He wants to have guys in the box, to play games with Josh's eyes, and making sure that Josh could take whatever keys they need to take, and he can hit his hots whenever he does bring pressure. And I think that plays to the Bills' advantages, right, to their strengths. Josh has been key in being able to get his eyes downfield, see where guys are coming from. And as a matter of fact, last game when he played him in Week 11, he had a really good feel for where they were bringing the pressure, where the pressure was coming from, getting the Bills into the right play, getting them into the right protections. And you can see that throughout the game. So I don't think they're going to get out of that too much. And it's funny that you mentioned the 3 guys that, had the most targets, Coop, Shakir, and Samuel, because I had those written down on my little cheat sheet, right? Yeah. If you notice, a couple of times they took some deep shots out to Coop. I think he was 255, yeah.
255.
Exactly. And that was off of the 2 deep shots. The one where it was just basically a go ball and he just pasted and he just routed dude up, stacked the defender, boom, made a hell of a play. And the other one was Josh actually just chucked it downfield, let him go make a play. He made a hell of an adjustment on it. The Willie Mays over the shoulder type catch, right?
Yep.
So I think in both of those times, I think Johnson was matched up on him. So number 13. If you see, I think they saw something where they feel as though they could take a couple shots downfield on that boundary against Johnson. So if you see Johnson lined up against whomever, man, key on that and see, you know what I mean, if Josh decided to take a shot if they're in that man look. But yeah, as far as the middle of the football field, I think their linebacking core, Tranquil is decent. Nick Bolton, I think he's going to be a liability in coverage. So with having Kincaid back, it's going to be key.
Two guys who struggle in coverage, Tranquil and Bolton. Is Sorensen still there?
I don't know.
Because I mean, there's another, and I'm coming to you, James, on this one, right? And we talk about if we see number 13, Johnson matched up, you may have to take that shot, right? But what's funny is what number you don't see out there anymore, and I'm going to ask you how much that changed to how the Bills attack this defense and what they can do against this defense. You no longer see number 38, which used to belong to L'Jarius Sneed. Was a thorn in the Bills' side and a lot of other teams' side, okay?
That he was.
How much, without going into this playoff game, without him on that roster, for the first time with the Bills playing him in the playoff, does that change things about how we attack him?
Absolutely. I think when you had Sneed and McDuffie, those are 2 dudes that can ball. Not saying that the other dudes they got are scrubs, but them 2 dudes are a little bit different, right? So I think when you take him out the equation and you add a Cooper, you add a Samuel, you add a Keon Coleman to the pot in regards to what we got as weapons this year, I think that could create a real big headache for them. Once again, I believe this is what Samuel was signed for. I don't think he was signed for weeks 1 through 17. I think he was signed. I know. That's why I said when we signed him, JT, if you remember, that dude was signed for the playoffs. And he was signed to be a boom player, right? Somebody who, you have to account for. If you do, everybody else can eat. If not, guess what? He's going to be able to make big plays like he has. He's made 2 big catches in this playoffs. The one he caught the over route, caught it, redirect, scored the touchdown. 3rd and 5 or 6 last week, he ran a whip route, get a first down, keep the chains moving. Those are big plays that a lot of people they don't look at. Those are plays where it's like, as a D coordinator, you turn on the film, okay, we got to account for number 1. We have to account for number 1 whenever he's on the field. That dude he's athletic. He's a baller. He can make people miss. I really think that he can get them a headache if we can get him going. I would like to get him 3 to 5 catches.
So when I look at this game and I look at this Chiefs defense, obviously the strength, one of the strengths is normally in the secondary. Okay, their secondary is not the best in the world. It's also not the worst. Obviously, with the absence now of L'Jarius Sneed, it does make them move Trent McDuffie around, which I will say I don't agree with. When you have a boundary corner of all pro level, I don't think you ever should move that man into the nickel unless he's going against man-to-man against the best receiver. Okay? I don't think you should ever move that guy into the slot. And to D-Dot's point, when you see 13 Johnson out there, and we ain't talking about Stevie, you attack him. So when I see Johnson outside and the other guy is I just had his name. Tamari Connor. They're not household names. They're solid players. But when you start talking about going against Amari Cooper, when we see Terrell talking about Keon Coleman and in the chat and guys like Matt Collins to get open, you welcome the one-on-one chances, right? Yeah. Not having L'Jarius Sneed. If L'Jarius Sneed was on this roster, I'd be extremely concerned about this game, especially attacking him, because you're probably going to put Sneed in the nickel and man him up against Killer Shakir all game.
Yep.
And try to make him give him hell. Then you take Trent McDuffie, and he has the ability to shut down one side of the boundary. and you roll your
Absolutely.
coverage to the other side, making less of a liability of Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquil. Once again, I did ask. I appreciate D Dot for coming through for me and that and telling me. I asked was Daniel Sorensen still there because I have not seen him and know he's not the Saints. This is another guy, a versatile guy, pretty much a safety in the box that could give you fits, help and cover tight ends. There are some missing pieces on this team, especially in the coverage. So if you ask me how you attack them, I would say you establish the run first because if you go back to the first game, the Bills did not run the ball well versus Kansas City in the Week 11 win. But the difference, as we've been saying all season, they never abandoned the run. James Cook, 9 carries, 20 yards. Ty Johnson, 5 carries, 18 yards. Ray Davis, 5 carries, 11 yards. They still toted that rock 19 times, and running backs only had 49 yards rushing. But you kept them honest.
Yes.
So I would say that this game is about keeping them honest. But the way this offensive line is playing, I don't think you're gonna run the ball 19 times for 49 yards again. This
I don't think so.
this offensive line is on a nasty ass mean streak.
Timeout. Is that when Spencer Brown was hurt? He got hurt this year, correct?
He did. It may have been.
I think so. It was 74. Who was 74?
Yeah, Spencer Brown was hurt.
Yeah,
I know
Venemark
he's
was
hurt in the game, but he missed the game too.
That may have been the game. Which there you go. That adds another player to this equation. So
Let me look at that.
For me, the attacking it is starting with the run game, but I agree with you guys. Attacking the same way you did before. Shakir and Samuel. Make them cover, make them tackle. What you got?
Yeah, the funny thing is, man, I actually rewatched most of the game. If you rewatch the game, check out whenever Chris Jones is lined up over Torrance, Osiris Torrance. Yo, he anchors, man. And I'm not Chris Jones. We know Chris Jones all pro. I'm not trying to say that he's the Chris Jones beater. But yo, there were a few reps where Chris Jones tried to bull rush that man, wasn't going. So I think the key with them from the up front is how they protect on those edges whenever they set him out to that end, how you guys mentioned before, when they set him out to that end and have him rush in. I think that'll be the key right there. But interior wise, man, it's gonna be a long day for Buddy, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think we actually mentioned that on that show for that post game show for that game that I think Torrance played a hell of a game against him. So I think I do remember that. But no, man, I think you guys are right on how we attack them. Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir. I don't think you changed much from the week 11 game plan. All you do is add those pieces that you didn't have: Spencer Brown, Dalton Kincaid, Keon Coleman. That's a lot to add in there. Moving on, man.
So I do got all right. So Spencer Brown had an ankle injury. What day did we play them on? Because he missed the game that was on the 17th of November.
We played them on.
I think that was it.
I do think that was it. I'm not finding a date here though. Let me just see.
It was November 14th. I'm sorry, November 17th.
Okay, that's the game he missed.
So he missed that game. Yep, I knew it. I knew it was something funky about that game. I was trying to remember. I knew I should have fact checked prior to. But yeah, that Spencer Brown didn't play that game.
Right. All right. So next topic, fellas. Next topic. How bad does Allen's legacy need this W? Obviously, we've heard a lot of talk about him this year. It's been MVP talk. It's been, is he the best quarterback in the league? Now, as the season went on, it was, could he beat Lamar Jackson? Right? That was the question if they played, because obviously intertwined with the MVP battle. But now we're back to the same questions we've been on about 4 years now. Can he get past Patrick Mahomes? James, how bad do you think his legacy needs this W, and how, does he need it right now?
How bad does his legacy need the W? I don't think it's that bad. I think it's more of I don't think it got to do with his legacy. I think it more has to do with his psyche, right? The Bills' team psyche. I don't even think it's a legacy thing Because if he get 2 Super Bowls in his career, I mean, I don't think people. I mean, some of this will kind of go away. You'll remember the 13-second game. Many
Mm,
people won't remember last year game that much at the end of his career. Um, if he wins, let's say 2 Super Bowls.
okay.
Um, but I think it could be huge for his legacy if he does get a win. But I don't think he needs this W for his legacy. If you get what I'm saying, I think it'll be major. I personally think once he gets one, I think the league is in trouble. I think they're gonna start rolling him off. That's not saying he's gonna win 5, 6 Super Bowls, but I think they're gonna get it's gonna get real then at that point in time. But I think this game is a big hurdle for just not Josh, for the team, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a mental hurdle. I went through an experience like that in college. Um, University of Albany. Um, couldn't get over the hurdle until our senior year. We knocked them off, won the conference. Um, we beat them our redshirt year, but my redshirt freshman year, redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior year, we lost 3 close games to them, and then we finally beat them my senior year. So it kind of remind me. I get a feel for it there. Um, like that, I think it's something similar to that, and hopefully Sunday we get over that mental block.
Did I? Legacy, Allen,
Yeah, I
Mahomes.
agree. I agree. I think in terms of legacy, like how James said, it won't be a knock, or it won't be damning to him. He's still one of the most talented quarterback guys that we've seen come and play this quarterback position to date. He's still going to rack up stats. He's still going to rack up dubs. So I don't think legacy is a threat is in threatening here, right? Is in danger here. Um, I do agree that it kind of it'll kind of be towards more sort of towards this team getting that proverbial monkey off of their back.
Mm,
Um, and I think the turning point for Allen with being able to see that he could beat this team was that 13-second game, as ironic as it is, because he went nuclear. Like the dude went crazy.
yeah.
If it wasn't for a couple mishaps, which we already know, then that outcome could have been different. But it was just a look at Allen's eye. It just really seemed as though he was just like, okay, I know I could do this, and you could see that whenever he goes out and he plays them now. So yeah, I don't think so.
All right. Well, let me sit up for this one.
Uh oh.
Oh,
Uh
man.
oh, y'all.
Let me
He
sit
about
up.
to talk that talk.
Let me sit up for this one.
Putting the elbow up or no?
Yeah, yeah. Elbows up. Elbows up. Elbows up. Elbows up. Elbows up. Elbow is up. All right. I'm gonna say he needs it, and the reason I said, if he never beats Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, does it mean that he's not going to the Super Bowl? No. Does it mean that he won't be wearing a gold jacket one day? No. But arguably, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback of this generation right here. As we're going to call it, the post Brady era, right?
Yep.
He's the best quarterback, and he was the one that I would say received the torch from Tom Brady. When we talk about Peyton Manning and we talk about Tom Brady here in 2025, unless you're a Colts fan, most people put Tom Brady here, Peyton Manning here. And sometimes when we have this quarterback conversation, because the quarterback conversation is a very similar conversation to the GOAT of basketball conversation, right? It's a heated, opinion based. We have to reach up every statistic and every excuse type of conversation. Because Brady is here and Manning's here, it leads to the conversation about Aaron Rodgers. Well, is Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning even? Are they both right here? Right? Now, if he cannot get past Patrick Mahomes, then he's going to be in the same category when the time and day is done as possibly a Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Once again, not a bad category to be a part of. All right, that those arguably 3 guys who will be donning gold jackets, and I ain't talking about no New Year's satin jackets. I'm talking about Hall of Fame. Okay, but Allen wants to be the best. There's a lot of people who feel that We've seen Dan Orlovsky said it. We've heard Jordan Palmer say it. Probably the most talented quarterback or most physically gifted quarterback to ever touch an NFL field, right? Most people said Peyton Manning was more talented, had a better arm, stronger arm, was more and had higher IQ than Tom Brady. But at the end of the day, it didn't damn it matter because he couldn't get past them most of the time.
Yeah.
And in 20 years, we're all sitting there gray-headed. I won't be gray. You guys will be. I won't because I don't age. Damn it. I'm going to be sitting up in this chair forever with my elbow up. I will not age. But saying that, in 20 years, the conversation is going to be, well, Josh was good. He may possibly won 2 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowls, but he couldn't get past Mahomes. We don't want that but. And we can't have it like it's boxing where you get your best fights when people are damn near have geriatric bags and are 37, 38 years old, and then they fight, right? We need him to win this right now with both players in their prime, both players being able to move, have good teams around them, has their original head coaches, original GMs, you know what I'm saying? We need it to happen right now. Now, if he wins this game and he goes to New Orleans and loses the Super Bowl, whatever the case may be, I'm not going to go that far. Knock on wood, that didn't happen. If that did go down, it wouldn't matter. He got past them when they were both young and ready to go. Young guns, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I think that he needs it. He needs it right now because every year it's been, well, he was close. Well, it was his 13 seconds. Well, he didn't have this piece. Well, the first year he didn't have, it was John Brown, Kobe, they have the weapons. Then it was Stephon Diggs the ball. We need it right now. There ain't no more excuses now. James, you have said it. This team is arguably better than that Chiefs team. D-Dot, you have talked about them not having L'Jarius Sneed. And we talked about not having Daniel Sorensen and other pieces, right? And how Cyrus Torrance stonewalled Chris Jones multiple times in that Week 11 game. You need it right now. Because it doesn't matter if you're on the road. We know that home field, there is no home field advantage between the Bills and Chiefs. Whether the Chiefs come to Buffalo or Buffalo goes to KC, there is no advantage. Both are comfortable. Okay?
Agree. Nobody even talked about a home field advantage this week. If you heard like commentators, not one commentator say, "Oh, the home field advantage." Like you said, JT, you've been saying it for a while. That's not a thing. I don't believe that's a thing. They both play to each other home field so often. It's like, listen, we come in with our A game no matter where we are.
Listen, Chris Jones talks about when he comes to Buffalo about what wing plates he gonna eat at. All right, and when Buffalo go to KC, ain't nobody talk about no food, but I bet you them offensive linemen know what barbecue they gonna order.
I was gonna say that barbecue, man. Listen.
Exactly. When you know where you gonna eat before your plane land, before your wheels hit the ground to take off, you're comfortable. Ain't no advantage. There is no more advantage in this game, home field. So I say, man, he need it right now. Go get it done, straight up. No BS, man. So, but yeah, man. Let's see what else we got. We got anything else? We talked about almost everything. You know what, D-Dot, we didn't bring you in on this, but it's a defensive question, but it's actually an offensive question too. So I'm gonna bring it back on the screen. Oh, I almost ended the stream. Jeez, that would have been good.
All right, everybody. Good night.
Yeah, I almost hit the button.
Where'd they go?
Almost hit the button. They said, did y'all play that Nolia clap? And got kicked off there. How do you expect the Chiefs to try to attack the Bills from an offensive standpoint, D-Dot, and how can the Bills defensively play the Chiefs' offense?
Yeah. So defensively, I think I got a feeling, and I don't know why. I just got a feeling that the Chiefs will try to play give two high looks, and make Josh have to matriculate the football down the field, keep everything in front of him, rally, tackle, can beat the offense. We saw the Ravens do that to start out. Then they started bringing a guy down to the box, and what I think that did was it threw a little curveball at Brady to see what they were really doing, and Josh to be able to figure it out because we saw them stall those two drives, and then they wound up picking up steam after that. So I see them coming out with two high look at their front four, try to get after it. Karlaftis with Chris Jones and all those guys up there, rally tackle and just try to keep the Bills from getting those explosives. And then you said, how do I see the Bills defending the Chiefs?
No. Well, yeah.
What I like is the fact that we've got Milano and we've got Bernard back. I know that Milano was a limited participant, but I think that, you know what I'm saying, that's going to be maintenance stuff, make sure he's fresh. I like that. I like the fact that he's back, because if you saw, there was a lot of, well, I won't say a lot of, there was a significant amount of green dog blitzes, right? Where if the back stays in, linebackers taught to go, right? Milano had a couple looks with that. So I love them being able to interchange those guys, because Terrell Bernard actually spied Mahomes a couple times during the Week 11 game, and he was able to get to him. So I like them being able to switch that up, the interchangeability with those guys. And I think the Bills give a little bit of that, those spy looks. I think they do run some man, try to get some hands on Worthy, slow them up, knock these guys off their routes a bit, and have Mahomes hold the ball some.
And, as you mentioned, Terrell Bernard, that Week 11 game, 8 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, and 1 QB hit. So, as you said, he spied him. He was all over the place.
We got to put hands on him.
So, I think we've pretty much covered it all. I don't know if there's anything you guys that we did not cover, but I will say this. We're in store for a hell of a football game.
Absolutely.
As my man Dory Jackson will say, the game of the week again for Bills. But final thoughts, man. D-Dot, what do you got, man?
Yeah, I'm just interested to see the different personnel groups that Brady and these guys deploy. We've seen it all season. Whether it be 12 to, even some 13 looks before. For people on here who don't know, that refers to running backs, how many tight ends. First number is running backs, second number is tight ends, right? So 12 personnel, 21 personnel, 22 personnel, whatever it is, even if they come out with that 4x1 that Marcus love to bring up, right? They come out with those different looks, man. Then I just like to see the chess match. You know what I'm saying? I think last episode we were saying that Hollins and Samuel were gonna have like a big play. I think I think I was saying that last episode. One of those guys gonna have an explosive, in my opinion. It's just gonna happen. And it's gonna put them in oh shit mode. So I'm really excited, man. Like you said, JT already precursor to it. There's gonna be a hell of a game, and I'm ready for it, man. Let's get our popcorn ready.
Get the popcorn ready. T.O. J Mal, final thoughts. Actually, hold on. Dan Owen says, let's talk about J Mal getting on the field this weekend and doing his thing.
Listen, I'll tell you this. No bull crap. Put me at gunner. I'll hold it down.
All right. I thought you were going to say in the backfield, man.
Listen, I can give you some carries right now. Now, listen. I still need a full training camp to be able to hold it down the whole season. You know what I mean? But realistically, I'll give you a good 5 carries right now. You know what I'm saying? Efficient 5 carries. I will pass pro. I got some hands out the backfield. Special teams, listen, I'm about that. I'm about that life. I'm gonna make somebody vomit on the field. Believe that. Y'all got
that's just nasty.
Man, that's what you're supposed to do. Man, listen. What you supposed to do, man? I'm supposed to hit you. You just lose all control of your system.
I know you play football like 15 years. That's probably a penalty nowadays. I'm just letting you know that.
That is true.
Okay.
That is true.
Flag, especially the Chiefs.
I'm jacking somebody up. Any one of my teammates to tell you, Mal was out there. Man, listen.
I believe it.
I'm trying to split your cantaloupe, man. Listen. That's how I played the game. But in regards to this game, man, I just want us to stay fundamentally sound. I mean, don't do anything nothing crazy, right? Sometimes boring is okay. Keep it vanilla, right? If you have to, right? Don't make mistakes. I would love to see us create 2 turnovers. If we could create 2 turnovers and play fundamentally sound, stop the run, I think we're all right.
Okay. All right. And I told you guys I get the numbers. The most highest
And no
watch-
turnovers. We don't turn the ball over. I'm sorry.
No turnovers. You're right. 100%. Efficient ball again, right? I'd say I told you guys I get the numbers of the highest, most watched AFC championship game ever. And it was actually, hold on, I got it here. It was in 2024, Ravens Chiefs, 55.5 million viewers. I'm a betting man, and I'm gonna look on DraftKings and FanDuel. And I wonder if they got a bet for that. That this game will surpass their ratings. That's one thing I would give. All right. Keith Bruckman asked, he says, Denver fan go beat the pants off the Chiefs. Thank you. Broncos country asked for entry into Bills Mafia for 1 week. Access granted, my man. You cool, yeah. You good in my book. Come on in. Okay? We got those credits to let you in. Don't jump through no tables. We ain't liable for any injuries. But I would say, and J Mal's real name is James Mallory. All right, go look him up. We got some clips on YouTube, everything. Actually, if you go to Mad Dog Sports, I think you can buy some of his old gear. Dead serious, not even joking. Cleats and gloves.
That is true. That is true.
It is true. I'm not lying. Dead serious. So you want James Mallory sign gloves or
most of it is
cleats?
gone. I think it's only like 3 things left. I signed like 15 things. I think only like people brought the rest. It's only like 3 things left. I think something like that.
Hey, they come with even the sweat. They've never been washed, so you get that included. All right, sweat included. But no, I'd say this about this game. This is just an epic matchup, and this is time number 3 or 4 in the playoffs now. This is Beasley Brown, Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs. This is time number 4.
Yep.
Time 4. Okay. The Bills need to do this. They need to get over this hump, and so far this has been their best chance to do so. All right, we mentioned those players that are not there. There is no Tyreek Hill. There's Isaiah Pacheco who's struggling right now. Travis Kelce at times this year has not looked like himself. He looks like he's headed towards retirement and marriage and spending a lot of time with Taylor Swift and the Swifties.
Yeah, she draining his ass.
Oh, I don't know about. I don't know. I mean, he's 34 years old, man. He is 34.
Sometimes the way he looked on the field, like she's draining his ass. He got some off the field.
Don't you be blaming? Don't you go on here blaming Taylor Swift from this show? I'll kick you right off here. I don't want them Swifties coming after me. No, chance in hell. That's cancel culture. No, I apologize, Swifties. You don't mean that.
Listen, man. Listen. Listen.
No, I'm not doing this.
That dude was look wiggity whack at times this year. Now he's looked better in the playoffs, but come on now, you'll be lying to the people, JT, if you ain't say he ain't look wiggity whack.
I'm not saying it. Yeah, he has, but I'm not saying it because of Taylor Swift. You won't get me. I'll say back.
You ain't say nothing.
No, I didn't say not one word. Not a chance. Not me. Nope. Not getting my health swatted.
He been balling in the playoffs. But listen, listen. I tell it like it T.I. is. I'm not playing. The man that sometimes look like he looks suspect.
Well, a lot of people
in the playoffs, he's looked better.
A lot of players do when they get to be 34 years old. I'm just gonna blame it on that.
They do. Father Time is undefeated for sure.
It is. Go buy Taylor Swift's next album. But as I'm gonna say, man, I think that this game's gonna come down to ball control. I think it's gonna come down to 2 teams who can run this ball better, who can extend drives, and this actually may be one of those games comes down to who has the ball last. And we've seen this a couple times already, right? Like I said, it's like Groundhog Day, the movie. You keep waking up, and it's the same starting point. You just keep changing the ending till you get it right. And this is the Bills' opportunity to get it right. And it's not just for Josh Allen. This is also for Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott needs to lead this team to a win. Like I said, you get a Super Bowl berth, and that changes that Sean McDermott narrative. If you lose this game, the narrative is he can't get you to the big game, right? It's almost closely related to his old teacher, Andy Reid's narrative, which I agree with you all the time. James said if the Bills ever let him go, you may be making an Andy Reid type mistake.
He'll be the highest paid coach in the NFL. People will fire their coaches to bring him in.
Right. So that's my point but in order to answer those questions, he has to get over this Chiefs hump. This has been a thorn in their side. And even though they lost to the Bengals a couple years ago, it is what it is. People don't hold that too much. But the Chiefs, you got to win this game. Because then people said last year, well, we need to get the Chiefs at home. Wait till we get them at home. When we got them at home, we still lost. So you got to win this one. Sean McDermott needs this. He has to get Buffalo to New Orleans. So, other than that, man, you guys want to give any predictions, or you guys want to leave that the hell alone?
Let's get it, man. I ain't scared.
Well, I know you. You just went at the damn
man.
Scared.
I'm on my bone crusher ish. I ain't never scared.
Yeah, bone crusher had one hit, and he never heard from him again. And if you keep messing with damn Swifties, you're gonna have one show, and you're never gonna be on again.
Listen. I ain't never scared. But no, all jokes aside, my prediction. I mean, forget the one score thing. Let's win. Come on, Bills. Let's go win by 9-10 points. Let's put them to bed, man. We don't even want it close in regards to we got one drive. No, we don't want to do that. Let's not put it in Mahomes' hand. So let's make sure we take care of business. We win this game.
Well, you lagging
by more than
you lagging. You lagging.
I'm lagging still.
You was, yeah. That's the damn Swifties. Go ahead, continue on.
I'm back.
You back now? Back. Yeah, that was your warning.
Man, listen. Anyway, we get out there, take care of business. We'd like to win by more than one score. 9, 10 points, 11 points, whatever the case may be. Go out there, take care of business, and get this W. I would love to see that for McDermott. McDermott, my guy. I've been a big fan of McDermott since after year one of him being here. Just seeing the type of culture that he set for the Bills, being able to just get the Bills to where we've been missing since Marv Levy days. I respect him a ton as a coach, a ton as a man. And I would like to see Josh Allen get in, not just Josh Allen, this team, these veterans that have been here and kind of set the foundation. What we got right now, right? Deion Dawkins, you look at Von Miller, him coming in and being a part of what we're doing. Josh, obviously, even Reid Ferguson, people like that you may not think much about, but those are foundational pieces. So let's go ahead and take care of the business and get that win, and then get to New Orleans, man. And I've been joking around a little bit the last couple of weeks, but we are one more step to doing that know you clap, getting down there in New Orleans. And what better would it be now than now? All jokes, it might sound corny, might sound cliche. What time is better than now? New Orleans would be great. My favorite rapper from New Orleans, BG, and Soulja Slim. So they from New Orleans, the best gangster rappers ever. They BG? From absolutely my favorite rapper ever. Well, outside of Tupac, my favorite ever. BG is my favorite artist. Soulja Slim, the most underrated rapper in rap history. And I'm serious. He's the most underrated rapper in rap history. There's not 3 rappers that can out-rap him ever. But that's another story. If you don't know about him, better go listen to him. But nah. Anyway, back on track. Seriously, let's go take care of business. The Bills, man. I'm amped up for this game.
All right, D-Dot. Final thoughts, man.
Yeah, I think. Well, just to backtrack just a little bit, I think if we replace that question that you had, if Josh needs this for his legacy, I think if we replace that with Sean, I think that's the perfect question, and that my answer would be yes. Sean McDermott needs it more for his legacy. To be able to get over that, can he win the big one hump that James referred to? My prediction, though, is 31-23 Bills. 35 degrees high, 25 low, and
clear.
Not a bad weather day.
Yep. Yeah, 10% chance of precip. That's bad. That's bad news for KC, in my opinion. Real bad news. And they typically take decent care of that football field over there too. I can't recall. Yeah, I can't recall that field being torn up that bad during this time of the year. It's going to get very real. I think the Bills hit that 30 mark again. So let's go get it, man. I'm excited.
Are we under? No. How many losses we got with the 30 mark this year? Is it just? Is it just one loss with the 30 mark this year? Is it
Good question. I'm not sure.
Is it just the Rams
That
game?
one
Might be.
I do not know. I
Might be. I think you might be right.
Okay. Off top of my head, I believe it's just the Rams game. I could be wrong, but I mean, we only lost 4. Baltimore, we didn't get to 30. The Rams, we lost, and then we also lost to the who else did we lose to this year?
That last game, New England.
Oh yeah, I'm not counting that. We in that preseason game, count that one. Who's the loss though? Come on, chat, help me out now. Who's the loss? Rams, Patriots, which is the preseason game.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, too. Well, we'll figure it. D-Dot look it up. I know he's looking for it now. I would say this, okay?
Somebody will pop in the chat, though.
Yeah. Houston. Tony Lagar, appreciate it. Houston. Gotcha.
Yes,
Welcome to the show, too, Tony. Tony always got
Yeah,
it.
we didn't hit the 30 mark. We didn't hit the 30 mark.
So only one loss at the 30 mark, right? So I say this, I definitely agree with you. We got to hit the 30 mark. I'd say we got to establish the one. And I love Sean McDermott. I really do. I really, really love that dude. I endear him very much. And I think there's so many things that you can take from him and incorporate into just your regular life, not even on a football field, right? And how he's a leader of men, as you call it, James, all the time. We need James Cook big time, as Keith Bruckman put his time to cook. James Cook has been electric. He has been a catalyst for this offense time and time again after this year. He's fresh. It is time for him to completely unleash, because if he unleashes, that is the one thing that they can't account for. Now, we know that Shakir, we know that a healthy Curtis Samuel are going to be matchup problems for them. But James Cook running the football, it just presents a problem, because now it adds an element that you can't stop, and it opens everything else up. Right? I think the Bills are going to end up pulling this one out. And I'll say, over the last couple of years, right, from when we played the Bengals, I did not predict us to beat Cincinnati. I thought we were going to lose that game, and we did.
Yeah, our team was drained.
The Beasley Brown year, I did not think we were going to beat KC. Now, the Diggs year, I thought we were going to get them. Last year at home, I also didn't really feel like we were going to. I hope we were going to beat them, but I didn't feel like it, because I felt like there was a disconnect within that locker room, and obviously there was a disconnect. This is the first year I can say that it's not. I'm not going to this game with a hopeful feeling. I went into the Baltimore game with a more hopeful feeling than I am going into this game with. I feel like this team has a job to do, and if they do the job, that team on the opposite side of the field is not better than this team. So, for me, I think the Bills are going to win this game. I wholeheartedly, truthfully believe they are going to win this game. This is the first year I think that the players were in the past. Yeah, we could get the Super Bowl. That ain't this mindset. They can taste it. They can smell it. They can see it. That's a big difference from past teams. James, you've played. D-Dot, you've played sports. You guys get it. I don't care if you're a little league or you're in college, you're at CCSU. It's a different feeling when you're like, damn, I hope we can do it. To, okay, yeah, it's right there in front of us. I'm about to go grab this. This is mine. Snatchies. I'm taking it. As Pete Weber says, I am who they thought I am. That's it. That's what this Bills team is about. And it's not just Josh Allen. It's not just Deion Dawkins. It's also Sean McDermott. It's also Brandon Beane. It's the entire organization. Right? I don't even think these like in the past we've heard coaching interviews have messed with, did it get in the way of Brian Dable? Did it get in the way of Leslie Frazier doing their job? This ain't affecting Joe Brady. Joe Brady don't give a damn. Joe Brady, you give me a job, you give me a job. If not, I'm right here. But I got a job to do this Sunday. Talk to me on Thursday. Cool, we'll talk. Let me do a little interview with you. But I'm back to the books. I'm ready to go. The coaching staff is locked in. The players is locked in. But my only concern is the health of that secondary. That's the only concern for me. But it's going to start, like you said earlier in the show, James, with the trenches. So I'm going to say, I'm going to give a prediction. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win this game. I think they're going to win this game. I'm going to say, what's the Vegas spread? Vegas got a spread on this one yet?
Not sure. Oh, I didn't get my score. 34-24. I'm sorry.
34-24. Okay. Let me see. I want to check something real quick to see if Bills got a Bills Vegas. Bills Chiefs spread.
I think it's the Bills are they underdogs? Oh no, I'm going to look at that.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I believe they're underdogs.
The underdogs, right?
By 2 points, I believe it was.
Okay.
2.5?
Yeah.
1.5.
1.5.
1.5. The Bills underdogs, right? I think the Bills going to win this game. Then that's the case. And I'm not saying Vegas plays a part in the game, but I ain't saying they don't either. I think the Bills are going to win this game 24-17. I believe the Chiefs will have this ball last, and I think the Bills will stop them. That's what I believe. I believe the Chiefs will have this ball last, and I believe the Bills will stop them, and they'll go to New Orleans. And whatever happens in New Orleans is going to happen in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So I believe. So
We'll figure that out when we figure that out.
other than that, people, let's just see. Hopefully, no matter what, we got one more show next week at the very least. Let's hopefully we make it 2. Bills, Chiefs, round 4. Hey man, it's time. It's time. But as always, thank you guys for joining us. I know it's a little late. D-Dot, appreciate you coming on. J Mal, as always, appreciate you, brother. We'll catch you guys next week. Actually, no. I will catch you guys on Sunday at some point. I'm gonna figure this out.
Yep.
Figure this out. We're gonna be live on Sunday. So
Yes,
6:30 Sunday, Bills Chiefs. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. As always, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.